everybody. Hope y'all are doing well today. Got a couple of things I want to talk about. So, fixing to start work on the 61. I started work on it the other day, and got to get the trunk. Some of you may remember from an earlier video. We've got to put a trunk pan in it, and we've got to do a small quarter panel patch on it. So I'm fixing to start on that. We've been working on it a little, but had a bit of an issue. Whenever you're working in a shop, please make sure you're wearing your safety gear, eyeglasses, hearing protection, gloves, especially if you're dealing with rusty metal and stuff like that. I was taking the floor pan out, pulled it, and my the pliers that I was using to hold it slipped, and my hand hit a piece of the jagged metal that hadn't been cut out yet, and cut my hand pretty good. So I'm having to be real careful about this. Got some stitches, updated the Technishot, all that good stuff, but just make sure you wear your safety gear. Accidents happen, but safety gear at least limits some of the damage and can stop accidents at some point. So that's my PSA for today. So gonna try to get the floor pans removed, or the trunk pan, and go on and finish getting that cleaned up so that we can start working on getting it rebuilt. Alright, so we've got half the trunk pan out, and as you can see, I hope you can see it. Let me see if I can get some light down in it. There's some crud and stuff down in the channels, the frame rails, but overall they're pretty sound. So we've cut out all of the rust that was in this side, and they do not make a aftermarket or production pan for this vehicle. So we had somebody make some. They made them in two pieces. So what I'm going to do is put this piece in, get it tacked in, welded in, and then we'll remove this side over here and do the rust repair on that side. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to clean up inside these channels with a wire brush, and then we're going to treat it all with not sponsored by them, but Pour 15, which is a rust preventative that I've used, and it does a really good job. So we're going to treat all that with rust preventative down inside the channels, and then along these edges where we're going to weld, we'll treat that with a weldable primer so that we can spot weld into those. So let me get this cleaned up, and we'll get it painted and treated, and then I'll bring you back. So as you can see, we've got it primered. The black that you see down in the channel is the Pour 15. I even painted that splash guard up under there. Painted the inside of these channels right there and there with it. Got way up in there. Wanted this to have really good coverage. Pour 15 is a really good rust preventative. And so, since water and mud can get in these channels, I want to make sure that they're protected from any further rust and damage. And then the copper color that you see sprayed over it is a welding primer. So it's a primer that'll keep the bare metal from flash rusting in the humidity, but it'll also give me protection as I weld, and the welding arc can go through it. So we'll let this dry, probably about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll come out and we'll start working on getting the panel welded in. Alright, so we've got it fitted in and started tack welding some of the holes in to hold it in place. Go around the upper side up here and get it tacked in real good. We're not going to worry about this side yet because this other piece where the tools are sitting, all that's coming out. So I'm not going to, this center line right here, we're not going to weld that. But it's getting there. Alright, so we got this side in. It's welded in pretty good. I've got that one little area right here that I've got to do, but I've got to do a repair over on this side, and this piece that I made up is going to take care of both of them, so I need to make sure this side's right before I cut it so I don't mess up the piece. So now we're going to start taking this out and get this side done. Alright y'all, so we've got the driver's side of the trunk out. Cleaned it up a little, but we still got a bunch more to do. You can see over here, I cut out, right in there, I cut out the fender support. You can see the support right there. The reason I did that is this was the support. You can see this was the top of the trunk, and this was where it tied into the fender, so it's completely rotted out. And if we look, see all the little blue dots through there? Well, that's rust in the outer fender. So it's actually going to be easier for me to go on and replace the fender now and do that fender repair before I weld in that trunk support. So got that figured out. Came over here and figured out where I needed to cut the fender. Like I said, I don't want to replace this whole fender because they don't make it. I can't find one anywhere. So I've got to make the pieces. And if you look right here, you can see there's a compound roll right in there. And then when it gets to here, it rolls under, so it's arched under the car, but it's also fading back. It's a wider radius here than it is here, and so I don't want to have to make, you know, that diminishing radius here and then try to get this compound angle here in. So by doing what I'm doing, and what I've got is, this is a several layers of blue painter's tape that I've crisscrossed to make a mat, and then I've cut it to where I want to cut the patch panel. I'll pull that off, transfer it to a flat piece of metal, and that'll give me a good pattern, and then I can take that pattern through the roller and get the radius that I need. So that's what we're fixing to do now. So a lot's been going on. This is the old fender panel. You can see how rusted up, and I mean just how bad it is. So here's the new one. We've got it fit up. It's pretty good. We got to, you know, push in and out a little here and there to get it situated. But it's ready to go. I'm getting ready to weld it, start welding it in, and to hold it in place, I don't know if you can see them or not. There you go. I've got these little welding magnets. Not sponsored by them, but these came from Eastwood Products. They're just really, really strong magnets. I think you get 8 to a package. And so doing panels like this, where you're doing flush panels, they really help hold stuff in place so that you don't have to try to use different types of clamps, and you don't have to overlap, which would cause a rust point. If I was to make this panel where it would overlap this panel, or step it where it fit in behind it, well, that's a place for water to get, mud and things like that to make it rust. So that's why I prefer doing butt welds like this. It prevents places for water and rust to get into, and I don't have to do rust repairs in another 5 to 10 years. So, but these magnets work really good for doing butt welds, and especially on sheet metal. They help keep it in place and keep your gaps and spacing and everything. So works out real good. Like I said, not sponsored by them. If I wish I was. If they wanted to send me stuff, I'd be happy. But you know, it is a good product. Eastwood has good products that I use, and you ought to check them out. But that's where these came from. So we're going to get this tack welded in and go from there. Alright, so we got it tacked in. This is a thin piece of metal, and so you want to be careful about overheating it. If you do, it'll what they call oil can, so it'll get ripples in it, you know, where it'll wave, and you'll have to use tons of Bondo to try to get it flat, and that's just not good. So what I do when I tack something in, I hit it and just work my way around it with the welder, and I'll hit, you know, here, and then I'll skip down to here, and then I'll skip over to here, and then I'll come back down to here. The other thing I do is I'll make a pass, so I'll hit 4 or 5 places, and then I take my air nozzle and I just I'll blow air over it to help cool it, and that helps keep the heat from dissipating further into the panel and causing it to warp. So let me get this finished welded in, and then I'll bring you back as we're doing the body work. Alright y'all, there it is, the finished panel. Put a skim coat of Bondo on it, sand it, prime it, and it'll be ready to go. Alright, so we're getting ready to tack this panel in, and as you can see, when I laid this panel out, this is the underside of it. I traced, you can kind of see the lines there, I traced where all of the supports, the frame rails, angle supports, all of that, I traced where that was under the car, and then I went in and in between it, I drilled, these are 1/4 inch holes, but I drilled those so that I can go back and do plug welds, and that will tie the trunk floor pan in with the frame rail. It'll stiffen the car up a little. So we've got that done. We're ready to put it in. The other thing I did is this copper primer. This is a weldable primer. It's the same one I used earlier on the frame rails. And the reason I'm putting primer on it, I'm not primering the whole thing because they'll use a different primer under the car as well as an undercoat. So I'm not worried about that, but I do want where the frame rails are to be protected from rust and things like that. So I'm using the weldable primer. I can still weld through it as I'm doing the plug welds, and I don't have to worry about contamination. Plus it gives rust and corrosion benefits in the frame rails to keep the truck pan from rusting out again. So I don't know if everybody does that. That's the way I was taught to do it, and that's the way I continue to do it, just to try to help out and have a better product. Ruh-roh. A little further. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm just sitting here after getting the 61 Newport loaded up and on the road back home. I decided I'd take some time and kick my feet up and relax. So I hope y'all are having a good day. It's a little warm here, but it's still a nice day. It's not raining, the sun's out, and we got another job out of the shop, so that's a good day. So really glad to have y'all following along. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate y'all coming along and liking and subscribing. Really enjoying doing what we're doing. Like I said, we do a little bit of everything, but I hope y'all are enjoying it. I know I am. I hope you're having a great day. I know I'm having another day in paradise here. So y'all be good. God bless.